The goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
That intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Like Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all. God Almighty!
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like seriously, I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot, up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown
Day
under the
one
radar.
of the Musikfest 2025 Daily Livestreams from Godfrey Daniels. Today we have Ramona Labarre, Ty Malone, and Jenny Known.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be
Your next favorite band.
Hello everybody, welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, here with guest co-host
Ramona Labarre.
And you are listening to your
Next favorite
band. Woo! Nailed it.
Thanks for the prompts.
It's a long-standing thing where I don't tell the guest what I'm about to do, and I'm enjoying whatever might come out of their mouth. Congratulations.
Thank you. Who's paying attention? Thank you for having me on.
Yes. Well,
So
no. The reason why you are. And Ty used this phrase earlier, Southside Queen. You were mine because in addition to just being this phenomenal person who also runs this incredible venue, but you're so kind and generous to let our show, our silly little show, set up here for the week. 4th year going.
The feeling is mutual. It's mutually beneficial. It's fabulous. We're so honored to have you in here doing what you do and bringing your next favorite band to all your listeners and the audience. It's
absolutely.
Really important.
Yeah, and we also do a winter show here.
Yes.
So that's set up. Breaking news, it's December 6th.
Yes.
It'll be on a Saturday this year. That'll be our 4th annual Winter Wonder Jam. So we are into the 4th year going
really
here.
Appreciate you've brought so much new music to our vision.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate
I mean,
it.
that's
Absolutely.
hopefully what the show is all about, is your next favorite band. So, but just taking a moment also to say thank you and kudos to Musikfest, because it's never lost on me in the show opening there is there's concert clips in there, and at least half of them are from Musikfest.
That's great.
Which
and I don't know many of them. I'm looking at it like, who's that?
Well, I will gladly spend time showing them all to you, but there's definitely some. Well, the other thing that happens that I love too is might bring a band recommendation to somebody, and they're like, oh, I don't know them, and I play a song, and they're like, oh, I do know that song, which is always a nice thing, because then they realize that they do like it, and they might just need to dive deeper into the catalog.
I understand that's happened with Coldplay in recent weeks.
That's been on people's, zeitgeist, if you will.
I didn't know that was Coldplay.
Yeah.
I know that song.
Yeah, they did kind of become a meme for a little bit, but this might bring them back to, wait, I actually do like their music because it's really good. Anyway, and stay tuned. There's a Coldplay tribute band on Monday night. So tune in, subscribe. What a great transition that was. Thank you very much. Worth every penny, Ramona. We are live every day here from Godfrey Daniels of Musikfest at 3 o'clock. Weekends, sometimes we start a little bit earlier, but I don't bother to point out the time change. You can always do it on demand at 3 o'clock, and it'll be there for you to click on. But most days it is truly live, like today. So if you have somebody you're excited to go see tonight, chat it out there. We'd love to share that with the audience. You'll hear our picks in a little bit, but we always like to start off with a giant thank you to Ramona and to Godfrey Daniels. So let's talk about Godfrey Daniels. Like, what's the latest? We're coming up upon an anniversary, aren't we?
This is So we're about to start our 50th anniversary.
How about
season.
that? 50 years!
Exciting, so exciting. And so, of course, we don't have enough room to bring everybody in who we would like to for this amazing
celebration
season.
Yeah.
But we have some special events are in the
Throughout the
plan.
year.
Yep.
And then there is a big gala happening.
Yes, so
Don't know.
it'll
You don't
be-
have to announce everything.
well, we've decided we can't do just one big thing. So there'll be a few shows at the Ice House. Here's some brand new unpublished information. John Gorka
We're breaking news.
is coming on the anniversary date, which is March 19th. And as most people know, he got his start here.
Yeah, he's on
It's
the
a
wall.
Thursday.
Maybe in multiple places.
I tried to get him to move it to Saturday because that's when we have the Ice House. He can't do it. So he's going to be here on Thursday. We don't really know if it's going to be 2 shows. It might just be one little exclusive thing
That's
limited
fantastic.
to 80 people, which will be difficult. He'll also be back in June and December next year, as he always is.
How
But
cool that is, though. Like almost like
he really wanted
it'll
to
be
do-
Thursday through the weekend. It'll become like a
Yes, it'll be a
couple
big
days.
weekend,
Your own little,
Yeah. So we're also
Celebration.
we're planning to do a bigger event, hopefully at Foy Hall. We're working on finding a mutual date that will be a big name, and then, as I said, some shows.
You can just whisper it in my ear.
Some shows at Musikfest throughout the year. Bigger shows. bigger
Yes,
shows.
and there's been a lot of people so like you were mentioning that I may have brought you some new music. There's also people who are either friends of mine or listeners to the show who came to Godfrey Daniels for the first time, or the Ice House for that matter,
Right.
and was like, this is amazing. So like there's also this element of the amount of people who have been through these spaces, there's a lot who haven't yet.
True.
And so you need to come down to Godfrey Daniels, whether it's for one of these special headliners or just somebody else. Like reach out to us or just pick a show. It's probably going to be awesome. The space is amazing. The acoustics are terrific.
GodfreyDaniels.org.
.org. Let's bring up the site. That's a great transition. I was good there. You were better earlier. So let's share this page. So yeah, GodfreyDaniels.org. There's the upcoming events that'll show you kind of like the concerts. Right now, the important thing to point at is the fact that there is a Godfrey Daniels Day every year at Musikfest. So let's touch on this, and then we can kind of promote maybe what else
Okay,
is going on in
sure.
the fall. But this is the last day of the festival every year.
Right,
So this
Sunday.
year would be Sunday the 10th.
Yes.
There's always 4, 5 bands. You get to curate the day.
Yes.
So it's a very Godfrey's kind of vibe, and it's in the Sun Inn courtyard, which is called Later Plots
Yes.
during the festival. So tell us about the lineup. It's awesome to start with Dave Fry, who's basically the founder of Godfrey Daniels and on the Lehigh Valley Mount Rushmore of musicians.
True, and to my knowledge, Dave has played, like Craig Thatcher, I think. Dave has played Musikfest every year.
Yep, I just
since
heard
it
him
opened.
confirm that. This
Yes.
will be his 42nd out of 42.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
and he wanted to do like a family hour. Noon is a good time of day for that.
Sure.
And next up is an artist named Laura Herskovich. She comes from Connecticut. And funny story, she and Dave lived in Connecticut for a few years in the early 2000s, and they competed every year for the Connecticut Troubadour Award, and she always got it, and he never got it. But that's okay, Dave, you're our troubadour.
He needed to come to Bethlehem.
That's right.
That's right.
So Laura is a veteran of our stage, and she'll be coming also in the 50th anniversary season with her band, and we're looking forward to that. We haven't nailed down the date yet, but
Awesome.
She'll be solo at Musikfest. The duo Goodnight Moonshine.
Sure.
It's Molly Venter and Eben Perizer, I think is how he pronounces his name. And Molly is one of the Red Mollies
Oh, okay.
from Red Molly.
Yep.
And they're also Godfrey's veterans, and they also have a return date here in early October.
Cool.
So they're really fabulous. Next up on the bill, Heather Herlock. It's a band. And Heather is an amazing writer. She is one of the founders and members of Tin Bird Choir from Berks County.
Mm-hmm.
She's extraordinarily talented. She's got good connections to WXPN. And we're
Yep.
real excited to have her band here. And then we'll close the day with the Keystone Breakers, a rock and country
Love it.
5 piece band. They're really also,
Sure.
of course, they're all amazing, right? And they also have a date here in October.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward
But
to
on the off chance that somebody isn't aware how Musikfest works, it is a free festival.
Absolutely.
So you have nothing to lose by coming down on what is, I know we're 10 days out, but is scheduled to be a gorgeous day out. We're lucking out with weather this year.
Right.
It's
So far.
unbelievable. The prediction of the next 5 days is locked in. After that, it still looks about the same, where it's going to be low humidity, low temperatures. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But the point is, you have nothing to lose. Come down, listen to the music. And if this one isn't your thing, after you pay honor to Godfrey Daniels, there's 14 other stages of music to come down and check out.
Right, and stuff right outside the parameter
Yes.
of that on Main Street.
Absolutely. And it's, safe, clean.
Yes.
There's good food. There's good drinks.
Nearby porta potties.
Yeah, lots of ways to
Very
relieve
close,
yourself.
across the road from the Red Stag Pub.
That's right.
Also a sponsor of Musikfest. And we're set up there all afternoon with a big.
Oh yeah, that's true. We got to promote this too. You're
Right.
giving away a Martin guitar. What could be
raffle
better
off
than that?
Our Martin every year, also a small
Yep.
guitar, and we
So
will
people-
have merchandise. We have the performers merch up there.
Yep.
It is a community day for Godfrey Daniels.
Sure.
A lot of our community comes out and they stay the whole day with us, and it's just
Right.
really
Because a lot of times at this point, I will point out the upper right corner of the screen where you can either volunteer, which is huge, or donate funds, which is also
Yes.
huge. But if you're going to say like, hey, I really would like to support, you're a nonprofit, so it's an important thing where this is not a for-profit venue. So with that, you're trying to bring people to the stage that you think are important to hear,
Yes.
not necessarily who will sell tickets.
Right.
And if you find that to be important and honorable like I do, then you should become a supporter of the event. The benefit of going down here and doing it with, you might win a guitar as a result of it, the best guitar maker in the world. So make a nice sized donation, buy the raffle tickets, and then Martin, which is a local manufacturer of these guitars, donates this to you every year so that you can raise these funds. So it's a nice win-win for
it
everybody.
is. And it's just enough keeps us on this day. They provide the day. They
Yes.
provide the budget.
Yeah, they do keep honoring the fact of the different founding kind of pillars of the event. There's still always polka on multiple days.
Yes.
There's still Godfrey Daniels, Dave Fry is still performing, Craig Thatcher's still performing. So like we're not losing sight of those. And then even more current kind of Musikfest legends. Cast in Bronze is still there. You always have Igor and the Red Elvises. We'll mention them in a second. Amish Outlaws. Like there's just so much of it that just seems to be like the fabric of what this event
Yes.
is. But then still what we're all about, bringing in all this other unheard, like maybe lesser known under the radar music, both local, regional, and national, sometimes international. Actually, somebody I'm going to have in here, fingers crossed, Tuesday, is a band from Italy
Oh, wow.
who plays Irish music. So they play basically like Celtic and Appalachian music, but they're all from Italy.
Are they playing on Tuesday at Musikfest?
Monday and Tuesday they're here. They're already in the States. But since they have the overnight, it's easier for them to come. And I reached out because they have a connection to the band We Banjo 3 that we've had on the show. And I said, hey, maybe you would want to come on. And they said, sounds fun. Let's stop by Godfrey Daniels. So unless, of course, they're massively jet lagged, which would be understandable, or, needing a break, right now the schedule is that they'll be here on Tuesday. And so back to that point about bringing in that style of music, they'll love this space. So
Yeah, great.
then what else can we promote like into the fall? Like any particular bands coming
So
up?
we've just, we've got a lot going on. We have in September a special, it's going to be at the Ice House. It is a Guy Clark tribute commemorating the 50th anniversary of his first album called Old Number One. And it's got a lot of artists on the bill. Michael Braunfeld, Megan Carey from Philly, Reese Shad, and a few others. I should mention Jack Murray is on that bill. So we have Jim Lauderdale's coming in November from Nashville, which is awesome.
Nice.
David Bennett Cohen also coming in November. David Bennett Cohen is an elder, and he was the original keyboard player for Country Joe and the Fish. So, old guys need love too. I mean he's an extraordinarily
That should
talented
be
artist, and he's still around
on
doing
a
this.
T-shirt.
Yeah. Spencer LaJoy is returning. Brittany Ann Tranbaugh, Cloud Belly.
Well,
Chris Matthews.
our show is massive fans of Brittany and Tramp.
Great. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
Abby
she was just
Gardner
part of our Listen to the Dissonance mental health event.
Oh, great.
She did a beautiful job with that, and
I love
so did the other
Brittany
guys.
Ann.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's amazing.
She went to school with my kids, so.
Yeah, she graduated from Charter Arts down the road. So
So all those names. Susan Werner we're working on.
Yeah.
April Virch will be here with Joe Newberry next year.
Fantastic.
The Kennedys, John Gorka, Ellis Paul, Bruce Katz.
And like we said, if you don't know these, you can always check them out. So obviously, that's the one positive side to
Yes.
streaming services is you
Yes.
can pull up any one of them.
Yes.
I like for Musikfest, what you could do here, you could do it for Godfrey, like just build a playlist, put it on shuffle, and see if anybody jumps out at your ears. And then, the other side of it though would be just trust the curation that you're doing.
Thank you.
And just show up and support the event. And it's a BYO space, so you
Yes.
can show up with beer or wine.
Yes.
And that's nice too. If you happen to show up without that and you would like it, there's spaces within walking distance
Right across the
to
street.
acquire it. Right. There's one across the street, but if you wanted like straight from the brewery, there's a brewery up the road.
Right.
Straight from the distillery, there's a
Yes.
distillery up the road. There's a meadery, so you can have that in case you're gluten intolerant, whatever. Lots of options here within walking distance, and to kind of just enhance your experience if you are so inclined. But you don't have to do that either. Just come and enjoy the space,
And discovering-
enjoy the history,
discovering
discover
new
new music.
It's so important. The first time I came here in the 80s, I came to see Nancy Griffith. I looked up on that wall out front and I knew no one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't recognize any of them. But of course, they're all touring artists who are making a living, going on the road, stopping at venues,
Yep.
selling their merch,
Yeah.
hitting a radio station once in a while. So,
If they still exist.
yeah.
Ugh.
Right.
That's for another podcast. Anyway, so thank you so much, Ramona. Thank you for
having
sharing,
me.
for all you do year-round, for letting us
you.
do this for
I
this
just
10
love
days.
this. I love it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, thank you.
Appreciate
And I can't wait to see you in and out throughout the week here. It's like, hey,
Yes,
Ramona.
yeah.
We're like
I'll be here.
co-workers for the
Be
week.
here. That's right.
Anyway, thank you, Ramona.
My dear,
Managing Director, Godfrey Daniels. It's amazing how you had that all committed to memory. That was fantastic.
enjoy your week at Musikfest.
Certainly.
Day 3 of the Musikfest 2025 daily live streams from Godfrey Daniels. Today we have Bobby Siegfried, Mallory Zondag.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, joined by guest co-hosts.
Mallory Zondag.
Bobby Siegfried.
And you are listening to...
Your next,
Next
favorite band.
Yes!
So sorry for the delay off the top. And then also, there's a good chance my voiceover was not in line on the stream. It was here, trust us. But there's some internet snafus happening. If you tuned in earlier this week, we had Ramona Labarre on, as well as Ty Vallone from the Groove Merchants and Jenny Founds from Ruby Deer. The Ramona conversation went fine. Ty conversation went fine. He starts to sing the beautiful song Real Estate with Jenny singing backup. And about 38 seconds into that song, internet totally killed. So we didn't even get to Jenny. So luckily she was available to come back. So Tuesday we're going to have Jenny Founds back on, and that's the day that Ruby Deer performs. It's going to be a packed show. We now have 4 guests that day. I always say to myself, I need to keep it to 2 guests. Well, even today we've got 3. Friday we had 3. Plenty more coming up 3. There's a 4-bagger in there somewhere. And you know what? It's just because we're so committed to the great content that's available during the Musikfest week. So you're welcome, Bethlehem.
And you're popular. People want to be on here with you.
And the Valley's chock full of talent, you know?
It sure is. It sure is.
Yes.
As on display right here, we always are so honored to bring on the designer of the poster and mug. Go grab it. Do you mind grabbing that, Bobby?
Oh, yeah.
Let's swap it out. So I had this one out there because it's just fun
classic.
40th anniversary
Yeah.
one. But let's swap it out for
Gotta
this
rep
year's
the
one.
merch.
Here we are.
There's something in there. I'm not sure if it's...
It's water, Bobby.
Is this water? Yeah.
Water. Actually, we don't need to see the Musikfest logo. All due respect. Let's get into some of the
already up
design.
there.
But we'll get into more of this in a second. I can bring it up on the screen. That was my plan. But I figured, why not have it in the shot as well? And so, visual artist and performing artist. So here it is, Lehigh Valley talent right on display in every possible discipline. And I think off the top, we wanted to talk before we kind of get into each of your stories and different things we can promote. Just simply that, like something that does come up on this show is obviously it's a music podcast that I'm bringing on the performing arts, and they're often like, oh, I wish I could draw better. I wish I could design. Oh, these people do an amazing job. But then I happen to talk to visual artists, and they're like, man, I wish I could play an instrument. And there's even just this, if you really want to get like, I had George Harab on yesterday, so we got super nerdy, and I love it. And so to get a little bit like it's like, music is really just vibrations, but it's art. So you're taking the air and turning it into this beautiful sound, but it's a shared experience. Like, obviously you can write a beautiful song just for yourself, but where it really becomes powerful, like a live performance, is when it's a shared experience, but it's a moment in time. Whereas a visual piece of art, you have forever.
That's true.
And so it's this very weird, different thing that each artist is often wishing they had the other one. I want the permanence of a piece of art that's on the wall.
Versus the ephemeral.
And the other one's going, no, I want to be there when the person experienced the art.
Yeah.
Because they put it on the wall in the museum or their house or whatever, and you're not there to watch the person fall in love with it. Whereas the musician can watch that person either just absolutely get blown away for the first time they're hearing it, or singing along because it's their favorite song.
Gosh, yeah.
Go, now, talk.
I want you to know how hard I'm fighting nerding out right now. When you start talking about like earth vibrations and things like that.
Nerd it.
Yeah, I
do
have
it.
80 things in my head right now that I could jump in and say.
Everybody loves the
Oh,
nerd.
gosh.
If I could go back to the beginning of this show, I would have not avoided the nerdy, because in the beginning I thought, oh, people don't know. I'm interested, but probably nobody else. But anytime it went there, everyone's always like, oh my God, I love that part. Could be about a music, could be about effects pedal, could be about, who knows what, the time signature
Those are
of
the
a song.
conversations I enjoy the most.
So let's do it. Yeah, talk about
the nerd,
your art and your appreciation for the opposite one, or even others, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, all my life I wanted to be able to draw. I wanted to be able to do some sort of visual art, and I'm kind of glad computers exist, and I grew up in the right time.
Right.
When I say I do a little bit of graphic design, I try and like keep that under my breath. I do a little bit of graphic design.
I design my own things, these little graphics that I do, and my kids always tell me, because I have two kids who actually they both go to Pratt, which where you went.
Yeah,
we can get into that in a little bit, but
nice.
in the beginning when I started doing it, they were like, you look like, and all due respect to mental illness, just schizophrenic, because I had every different font, every different color, and they were like, calm it down, go with 3 at the most, maybe 2, and I was just like, okay. And so it's just having some of those coaching moments, and it's so beautiful when it actually comes from your child, but it was just interesting to your point of like, I try to do my own and I am terrible at it.
Yeah, it's so funny to hear you say those rules. I hear like my graphic design professor in college like saying some of those same things, and I guess part of me has always had this like rebellious streak in me. If you tell me that there are rules, I will question them all.
Sure.
And
me too.
That's
but then you look at it and you're like, yeah, this is way better. When I listen,
That's how you get great art, though. You have to break a lot of the rules.
Right.
That's right.
That's the way I
That's
approach
Picasso,
music. It's
right?
like, there's
Picasso
no reason
said, learn the rules so you know how to break them.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, when I was growing up, I learned how to play piano and I learned how to play flute. So I was like doing music when I was younger, but I never stuck with it. The thing that I loved it, but I never stuck enough with practicing. And I think I gravitated towards the arts because it was more tactile.
Yeah.
I could physically feel myself making something in the moment. Whereas music, it is so much more ephemeral and in your mind and in the moment, and it leaves you. But I think for the visual arts too, when it becomes something more solid is when people react to it.
Sure.
I think just like with music, you make it for yourself in a way because you have to, but it becomes so much more powerful to see other people react to it and see how it impacts people and see like what they take from it too. You have to kind of let it go, and then it changes, and then you don't really have control over how people interpret your art when it's away from you, and that's another fascinating part of being
so
a
brilliant
creator.
to hear you say that, because I literally, that is how I would describe music, but also visual art. Like I feel like Brian Wilson does a really great job of explaining, like when people asked him like, where do these harmonies and counterpoints come from, he was like, it's just like it builds up inside of me and it's an explosion of my soul. And I'm like, I would feel like a visual artist would probably say, or even like a choreographer, like it would say that all of these things come out of your soul. Like they come out of some other ephemeral or existential, dimension.
Sure.
And I don't know that anybody can quite put their finger on that. And I felt the same way about music and like my own music. And I've seen, I guess I've been fortunate enough to have seen that once you let something go, once you let it go out in the wild, like the meaning behind the lyrics that I put behind the song suddenly take a back seat to the meaning that gets projected by the experience or the season of life that your listener is in. And something that you intended to be like a very, kind of introspective love song becomes a song of like hope. Like, I hope to find this love someday. I'm not there right now, and I'm going through this time of transition, but I hope to find this place that's being described, you know.
Well, on that point, I had a musician talk about a song they wrote that was about the end of a marriage, a breakup. And they were like, it's astonishing how someone comes up to me after a set and was like, that song you wrote about when your dog died meant a lot to me. And then the next person come up like, when you walked out on your dad because he was a bad person, that was a beautiful song and it means a lot to me. And she's like, it's about my divorce, but it meant but because it meant that to them, and it's now this deep and meaningful thing because it was what they needed to hear. It's this lens that they had into the song, and the emotions are still genuine, but yet the art allowed them to navigate to it in completely different pathways.
And it becomes the thing that people need the most in those moments.
Yes.
You kind of create a living thing
Totally.
because then everyone else gets to like turn it into what they need.
Absolutely.
And I think that's part of the power of art and music. It's not stagnant. It's like forever changing as people interpret it.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything more rewarding than like having the interpretations of your listeners or your viewers, come back with that feedback, because suddenly it's very little to do with you, and you've just contributed something back to the fabric of humanity, and then you get to sort of live that experience through them in a way, and that's I don't know how to describe how beautiful it is.
Well, and I think for me too, like there's a way in which, if you want to create, you could just create for yourself. Like you could just play music for yourself. I could just sculpt and keep it on a shelf in my house and like just do it for the sake of doing it. But there's something about like affecting people with what you make and how you see the world and how you interpret it. I think that's like the beauty and power of being an artist. That's like why you share it out to the world, is to see how it affects people. Like I always feel like if I make something and someone sees it and they have no emotional reaction, that I've failed. That it's like, why did I want people to react somehow, and so I have an intent behind it a lot of the times, like how I feel, how I'm trying to project this to you, but everyone takes it in a different way. But as long as you have an emotion, then I feel like I've succeeded in that creation.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. My favorite part about art, any kind, is, and someone helped me kind of put it into words, and they were just talking about how the purpose of art is to create a pure moment, which sounds interesting in and of itself, but they went on to talk about that it's basically, they called a pure moment one in which you're 100% present, that you're not worrying about what's happening next. And what it is you're giving over control to the artist. And so the other things that happen in these moments is nobody's talking. So for a musician, it could be a free performance in a restaurant, and then suddenly every person sitting there, they were talking and tinking glasses, and all of a sudden it goes dead quiet because this song is drawing them all in. And I don't know how or why that happens. I had a neurologist on one time who also is a musician, and I was like, why does it happen? He goes, I don't know, but I love it too. and the thing is, the same song in the same venue could not do it the next day. It's also like this captured lightning in a bottle moment in time, and it has happened enough times for me, but the first time or second time I was like, man, that is such a magical thing, and like I just want to find those moments, and that's why Musikfest is such a draw for me, because you have so many moments to try and make it happen. And so I'm just always like, this is amazing. And where it can happen obviously in music is it can also happen in art, visual art as well, because when you talk about how the not only the emotions of a piece, but how it's designed in such a way that they're in control of where your eyes are going. And so they're taking you through the story of this still image because of what they did, and you don't even know it's happening. And I think that's just so, those are the moments where you're just like, you see somebody, again, either listening to a piece of music, watching a dance piece, or looking at a framed piece of art, and just in absolute like gobsmacked awe. And I just think that's awesome. Like, I'm just always like, amazing. Like, so that's what I'm often in search of when it comes to art, and it speaks to some of these same things that you've both been talking about, where it's like the artist is at the peak of their powers and at just mastering this brief moment in time, and taking you on a journey of their story or their art, their beauty.
And in a way, then, like, the visual arts can be just as ephemeral as music in a
Definitely.
way, because it's
Definitely.
not so much about just the existence of the physical piece. It's the moment
Yes.
that the person has, or the moment that someone's going to be enraptured by
Yeah.
it, and that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going to be a forever thing. Sometimes people just, they might walk past a piece of art and not even notice
Yep.
it, and for another, they'll sit in front of it and like feel it inside of themselves.
Absolutely,
In
yeah.
that moment,
That's why I highly recommend you ever go to a museum, buy the little audio tour, or even
yeah.
if you have the means, hire the art historian who can take you around that museum and show you and point out things to you that would make a piece that you otherwise would have walked by, that it now became your favorite piece ever because you now understand a little bit of the story behind it, and then even just the other thing I found amazing was like the moment in time that it was created. So it was like, this was the first time that ever happened.
Yeah.
And so now we look back on it and it's something from like the 1600s and you're like, oh, it's just this cool piece. But then you realize no one had ever represented that image that way before, or used that color before, or whatever, and you're like, wow.
I have an inverse way that I like to do things when I go to museums, where actually I don't like to get the audio guide or like read the signage first going through, because I want to just be impacted by the visual. I want to see how I feel just seeing it, because it is visual art, and I just want to like make my own interpretation and my own story.
You almost don't want to be tainted with what the artist wants you to take out of
Exactly,
it.
and then I want to learn about that after the fact.
Sure,
and
no, I can
that
totally
kind of,
understand
like,
that.
support how I feel or how I interpreted it, and let them come together.
Yeah.
That's why I've always, somebody told me once that I should put, like, I could put little meanings behind, like, what the songs were, like, on a record and things like that. And even on records, when I put lyrics in, like, I'll leave the lyrics and I won't put the story. And that's where the lyric plot stage is really, really good. Like, if you want to see a singer-songwriter,
oh, totally.
Be a singer-songwriter, you have an opportunity to have a conversation, to let people in a little bit, but that... It's kind of, with visual arts, I always think, and I'm curious what you think of this, I always looked at it kind of like, Bob Ross illustrates this really well, because he just starts on an empty canvas, he's doing something in the course of like whatever his hour TV show was, but there's layer after layer after layer, and just when you think like, oh, okay, I know what he's doing with this, he covers up this beautiful part of the art that he just created to put other.
I remember as a kid going like, "You just ruined it." Wait, no. Oh,
there it is. Exactly. So then I think of that, from a music producer standpoint, like when I'm creating a mix for an artist or something like that. It's the same. It's kind of the same idea. Like there's layers and there's depth that only the artist is aware of, like that only like how you got there. It's not like you just started drawing all the colors, like, oh, like this is gonna start blending here. Like it can't work that way. So I wonder.
Yeah, there's like process. Process is a part of it that you don't see. You don't see the layering. You don't see all the levels that it went through, the changes that it went through, or like all the different. At least like now it's different in the world of like Instagram and like the social media of it all. So many artists like posting their videos of the process. You can actually see that and like watch someone do a painting start to finish, which is interesting to think about that change.
I think it Smells Like Teen Spirit that they layered the guitars in that song. Kurt Cobain's guitars 3 times, but not layered sounding beautiful. They actually are deliberately dissonant, I guess, is they went like the actual melody and then a half step flat and a half step sharp.
Yes.
So it actually sounds bad on purpose. And you don't know, and it's almost to kind of create...
huge.
Correct. And then, but I also think it's somewhat to create this element of confusion or like, am I even hearing that right or whatever?
Yeah.
But I was 17. I was like, I just thought it kicked ass. Like I didn't. But now to back to the point of learning that after the fact, I'm just like, that's why it sounds so interesting.
It adds to it. I think to experience it the way they want. They don't want you to maybe like see behind the curtain and know the bells and whistles of how you did it. They just want you to feel what they're trying to get you to feel. But then it roots in you in a different way when you understand what they were doing, or when you get to see behind the curtains and see the mechanics of how it's being made.
And some of that I think is also why, and we could spend probably an hour on this, but like the way that you can listen to a band's studio recording and it's amazing, and you go see them live and it's flat because it's like it was a little bit overproduced. But if they can produce that sound or make it even better, that's what a lot of bands I end up falling in love with are. They're even better live than they were in the studio.
Yes.
Whether it was because they recorded it like, one track at a time or whatever. Like a lot of times I'll check something after the fact, and my favorite albums are ones that were recorded where they were all in the room at the same time. So not a live recording, but a live studio recording.
huge considerations that a lot of musicians are actually going back to that.
Mhm.
You know, like my band included, like the rhythm section comes together, and the only overdubs are like the final vocal track or something
Sure.
like that, because there's a pocket
Yeah.
that you can capture,
And you can capture some of that
energy
magic
you can
of the
capture. And
the
sometimes that
non-verbal communications and
exactly
yeah.
you're almost getting some of the benefit of the live performance.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated to study like the old studios of old, like Stax records, the Sound of Philadelphia, Hitsville, Motown. Like,
Sure.
I love looking at like how they layered things, how they put things together,
Yeah.
how they use different studio tricks to sort of fill out the sound, because it really, it's a lot of that is coming full circle, because now with digital recording and everybody can pretty much have access to
Right.
it, the creativity is
It's so
coming
true.
back to sort of experimenting with like, how can I put these sounds together in a new or a fresh way, kind of paying homage to that foundation that was created 50, 60, 70 years ago, but also like with a new age flair to
Yep.
it. And that is super, what is a great time to be alive.
Mhm.
Great
No,
time to be
no,
alive.
it's
Because
very
artists
true.
have unparalleled, I think, creativity and creative control over their own music now. You don't
And
have to go to New
distribution,
York.
one of the positives of streaming is you can get your song out there.
Exactly.
It will not make you a nickel, well, it might make
Yeah.
you a nickel, but that's about it. But the thing is, now there's ways to get your song out and heard
Right.
in a way that was never there before. So that's what I think is one of the joys of the. I think I heard somebody talk about it recently that said there's a same amount of music released daily that was released the entire year of 1983 or something like that. So not even that long ago.
Yeah, I believe that.
But
That's
they're
wild.
Yeah, and I might have some of that wrong. It might be weekly, whatever. But it's not exactly even close by orders of operation. But thank you for that chat. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
And we could keep
I
going.
know, we could keep doing this.
That happened yesterday. I was like, George, let's talk about you and have you play. And he's like, no, let's go back to this conversation. It's a much more interesting thing. But we do want to make sure we promote everything. So this will make sense. Mallory, we're going to talk about you first. We're going to go into the picks of the day, and then we'll come back to you, Bobby. So, Mallory,
All right, hi.
welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So if I understand it right, this process is you get picked like a year ago.
Yes.
And then you get, the only requirement is that you've been to the festival.
I mean, they
Well, you have to be an artist, but like.
They didn't explicitly state that, but I would assume yes. Or
Yeah.
like also to have a connection with like Bethlehem
Sure.
and the music festival.
Yeah.
As far as I know, the last there was a panel on Thursday where all the past music
Yeah.
artists from 2019 till now
So cool.
got together and we chatted, and they all, even if they don't all live in Bethlehem, because I don't live here anymore,
Right.
like we have a rooted connection
Yes.
to it. Grew up here, we're from here,
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
speaking of roots, let's bring this gorgeous image up. And here's the other thing too. If it looks fuzzy, it's because it's a three-dimensional piece.
And it actually is fuzzy. It's
Yes.
all wool.
And it's all fabric, exactly. So like, it's one of these things where you really want to see it in person, and it's up on display.
It is. It is on display at the Arts Quest Center right outside of the Frank Banco cinemas. So it's right on the wall.
Yeah,
of
so if you're on
screens,
South Side, I mean, the cinemas are a great place to check some music out. Obviously, you have the Town Square stage, you have the Steel Stack stage, America Platz. And so while you're there, pop in and look at this thing, because it'll give you a whole new appreciation than even just this amazing thing. And Bobby, you were commenting and complimenting how it really captured a lot of what Bethlehem is all about.
Thank you so much for saying that, because I grew up here and spent my whole life here until I went off to school, and I really like this town is beautiful.
Sure.
And, like the history of it, the history of the Moravians, and I went to Moravian school for like my whole school career.
Nice.
Elementary through high school, and being connected with Arts Quest and spending so much time around the steel stacks and at the Banana Factory, which I snuck in there because I wanted it to be represented, because it's now it's gone, that building's gone, but it's making way for bigger and better things. But I did love that building and grow up in it, essentially. So I wanted it to be a part of the poster.
I love the visual art studios that were in that building. I saw it so fascinating. I was like, wow, what a cool maker space for visual arts. It doesn't always get talked about as much, because I feel like it's not always as shiny as like the music piece, because people will come out with performances with the lawn chairs and whatnot. But like these visual artists were creating masterpieces in all of that's backyard.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I bet it's coming back. That new space they're going to build should be incredible.
It's going to be beautiful, and there's going to be even more.
And it would have been here already,
spaces.
but not for the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic was when it was going to start, and they had all their funding. But there is some benefits to delay in that you have new technology or new stuff that can be factored in. So they've only just plussed it from what it was before. So maybe, all things happen for a reason, and maybe this will be an even better space as a result. So you mentioned before, kind of started out with some music and the visual arts, but stuck with the visual arts. You like the tactile, clearly.
Yes.
And we mentioned before, you went to Pratt. So how did that kind of part of your journey go?
I went to Pratt and I studied fashion design there because I initially thought I wanted to do fashion, but I wanted to do like art fashion. I wanted to do wearable sculpture, but I really got very intensely into making my own textiles, embellishing them, creating them by hand. And when I graduated, I realized I didn't really want to work in the fashion industry.
Sure. It's a tough one.
It's a really tough one.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make my own work and make my own art. So I kind of pivoted into textile art and using the skills I learned to create sculpture. And then I'm doing a lot of arts education work that I started doing with Arts Quest after I graduated. So they really also helped me kind of like launch the part of the career that I have today as an arts educator, leading community art programs.
That's really cool.
In this area in upstate New York and kind of around the Northeast. So I owe a large debt of gratitude to Arts Quest. They didn't make me say that. I say that of my own free will because I really do.
It's true. I feel like I say that every year too. We're so lucky to have that culture and that organization right in our backyard. It's
incredibly lucky. I feel like to me, they feel like a large part of what helped, keep Bethlehem vibrant and lively after Bethlehem Steel closed down. There's a lot of parts to it, but I think the arts are a way that sometimes dead spaces can kind of come back to life.
Absolutely. I'm just going to bring this up real quick. You also inspired. So I have two daughters that go to Pratt. One graduated with a 3D animation degree.
Oh, nice.
The other one is still there as a junior. She'll be a junior this coming fall. She's studying actually game art and design.
Cool. Oh,
so
wow.
It's kind of 3D animation or 2D that also responds to code.
Oh, sure. For
So
video game
and atmospheres
design?
and stuff. Yeah. So
Nice.
it's still the artwork of things, but it's aimed at the video game industry. This past year, when my older daughter graduated, that was the first year that the game design degree was a graduate. So my daughter will be in the third ever round of that.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So my youngest, Mari, last year did this and then did it again this year. I call the preview night, the night that you were on the stage with the other designers, I call it day zero because it's the 10 days of Musikfest. But so day one is that Friday. So what's Thursday? It's got to be day zero. And so last year and then this year, she used the current person's design to do her own design for me for day zero.
Oh.
So this is Mari's design,
awesome.
and it's somewhat inspired by your piece. And that's what I kind of told her. I was like, for me, it's like that mile marker zero at I think it's in Cape May or at the beginning of the Jersey Turnpike, whatever, Garden State Park, whatever it is. I don't know. There's one there, and then I think it also is Key Largo is mile zero for Route 95 or whatever it is. It's
nice.
just, that's what I always kind of view it as. This is mile marker zero, day zero.
The
This is
very
where it all
beginning.
starts.
Yeah.
And it's a long journey.
It's gotta be an origin for
Of
you.
10 straight days. Pace yourself, stay hydrated, and tune in every day at 3 to the daily live streams. And then you after graduation move into this stuff, and what else can we promote? Because you have this wonderful, let's bring up your website.
I would love to promote / shamelessly plug the fact that I do have signed art prints of this poster for sale.
Fantastic.
And some of the prints show not just the kind of cropped version that they use for the poster, but the actual full image
I
of
love
the
it.
textile, with the roots coming off the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're all signed by me, and they're art quality prints. Working Dog
Yep.
Press, local printer, printed them all and did a
Nice.
fabulous job. And those are for sale on my website and also at the box office.
Love it. I'm actually not going to Southside today for any music, but I'm obviously going to be there repeatedly over the next few days. When I pop in, I'll post a picture about it.
Oh, awesome.
On
Thank you.
on the site, so we can support all this. But this is MalloryZondag.com, Zondag.
Yep.
There is an Instagram page as well at Mallory Zondag, and obviously pieces are for sale.
Yes, I've got pieces.
Commissions?
Yep, I'm always open for commissions for lots of different styles of work that I do. My workshops are listed on there. Past community art programs, if you're interested.
Yay, the
in
internet's
seeing-
working.
Hey, success.
Great success.
I've got
Yeah,
all-
this is awesome.
Yeah, try to let people know all the upcoming work that I have going on, and give people a place to contact me for different programs.
And
for
here's the
commissions
contact page. They can reach out to you right through this.
Yeah.
But follow on Instagram. It's a great way to keep up with what you got going on.
Yeah.
And I saw a composting thing too. Is that?
That was from my senior thesis at Pratt, actually. Their masks say compost me. It was all, every piece was made out of entirely natural materials, and I did all the natural dyeing by hand because I wanted the idea of the pieces to be that they could be buried and decomposed like back into the earth, so like full cycle fashion in a way. Yeah, it was it was a fun piece.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Day 5 of the Musikfest 2025 daily live streams from Godfrey Daniels. Today we have Bo Koltnow, Mike Roy, and Jenny Founds.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, joined here by guest co-host
Bo Koltnow, and you've turned the tables on me.
That's right.
Because you're always coming on to my Saturday morning show that I do with Karen Millette on 69 News at Sunrise Weekend Edition. And you always just do such a great job. But I'm asking you the questions.
Right. Now I get to ask you questions.
But I may end up just asking questions because I don't know how to answer questions. I just know how to ask them.
It happened to me earlier this week. A podcast host themselves. We were talking, and then all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I was the guest on my own show, and they were the host.
See, so they are very good.
And yes,
right?
Definitely. And I had to almost try to now outmaneuver them. And so I got my eye on you. But yeah, you are listening to your next favorite band, your next favorite news host.
It's not going to be me,
journalist.
But maybe you'll find somebody who you will like. I guarantee you it won't be me. But you just had this band Gadan on.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, an Italian-Irish band with a York County American singer.
Yep.
They have one Irish guy.
Yep.
And then 3 guys from Italy.
Yeah.
And they live in California, Ireland, Italy, and Norway.
Yep.
And they're playing here.
They're
and
playing
you
in
got them
Bethlehem.
on your show.
And they lit the stage on fire.
They were
Last
great.
night, then they agreed, because they're such kind souls, to come on my show. All 5 of them. A lot of times they'll just, if I ask a band who's in from out of town, let alone European, international travel, I'll ask a band and they'll be like, yeah, we can show up. You go, like Mike or whatever. And so 1, maybe 2 people will show up. They were like, yeah, we'll all come. Do you want us to play something? And I was just like, yeah. And so we just decided, let's make that almost a normal, with quotes around it, your next favorite band episode with a backstory of the band and music examples from their catalog. So we said, let's have you all on at 1:30. So from 1:30 to 2:15, we interviewed them and live streamed it, and then that'll be a normal episode. And then this is the normal daily live stream at 3:00 from Godfrey Daniels.
Yeah, but it was just so neat to
oh my gosh, they were insanely cool.
And then so I completely poached them because I said, oh, hold on a second. I need stories every day. Where am I going to go? Oh, you know what? Philip is going to have these guys on.
Very cool.
I'm then going to interview them.
Yep.
And then we're going to have them on the Saturday, not the Saturday, but the noon show for my story Thursday. We will have Gadan on for them from an interview that we just did today. We will take some of your podcast as well and some of their performance from last night. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and then the only sad part for people who see that as the first time, they will already have left the festival. They played last night and they played tonight. So if you're tuned into this show, like I said earlier when they were on.
Are you trying to say that my news isn't relevant?
No, I'm just wanting to more apologize to the audience member who was like, that sounds dope, let's go to that. Yes. You're going to have to go to Wisconsin because that's where they're headed.
Which is great this time of year. You can go to the Dells.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee's a great city.
Awesome city.
Great city.
Mm-hmm.
Madison is nice.
Yep.
So it's a nice August family trip.
Yep. Get in the car.
For these people.
Go see them perform. Yes. And they're probably worth it to go that far because they are so good. So tight, we were talking about that too because well, actually, I had it here. Why don't I play a little bit? This is Gadan. They actually were our top pick yesterday. And can I say never? I think I've never done it. Even if somebody plays twice, I don't put them on the picks of the plots twice. Okay. So they are not on my picks today, but I will tell you, if I hadn't seen them yesterday, I'd be stopping everything to go see them. Mm-hmm. I cautiously say that because Jenny Founds from Ruby Deer is on at the exact same time.
And she's listening, and now she's giving a bit
So I'm somewhat
of
telling you to split yourself in 2 and go see Ruby Deer and Gadan. But both extremely worth it. But here, let me just play some Gadan, and I'll just lower it. You and I can keep chatting. So they don't have it in this song, but they will sometimes have 3 banjos across the 5 performers.
And I loved how you asked, what's the difference between bluegrass and Irish music?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the guys, the guy who's actually from Ireland, from Galway, I'm going to butcher his name.
Oh, Endus, Scott Hill.
Endus, yes.
Yeah.
He said there's, I think they called it, there was a word he said. He's like, it was like an indescribable Irish word.
It's like nya was
nya.
what he said, yeah, which was kind of like this swing or lilt to the performance. Mm-hmm. Instead of being very precise with the notes, it was kind of like they kind of more like had a bend to them.
Yeah. Probably from all the Guinness.
It could be.
I would imagine. And I think he'd probably back me up on that. But it was very interesting just to listen to their take on Irish music compared to bluegrass, compared to a little bit of folk as well. And they kind of mix it all together. And the singer is American. He has such a great voice.
Oh my God, his voice is incredible.
Really works so well with him. So yeah.
Kind of like a Ray LaMontagne singer. Like if you like his music, you're gonna love this guy's vocals.
Yeah, have you had Ray on the show, by the way?
No, not yet.
You haven't?
No.
All right, I'll talk to him.
I'm working up to that.
I gotta talk to Ray.
But there is Gadon, like we said. Make sure you get a chance to see them. Check out their music. Lovely. Definitely one of the better sets. They also just had a very good kind of like curation of their music that sometimes you sit there and it's a 90-minute set. And all of a sudden you look at your watch, it's like, oh, it's 45, it's only halfway. With them, I didn't look at my watch once. It was like, it just built and beautifully kind of like just carried you through this journey. And then when it was over, you were yelling one more song.
If you know anything about me, I don't even have a watch, but I'd be looking at my phone like, it's been 20 minutes. How much longer is this going to go? Like, there's parking, like I have to park, and now I got to walk. And then it's going to take me a long time to get out of here. And my wife just looks at me like, what is the matter with you?
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people I put the FU in fun. And I just, but I do love, it's not just them. There's so many great, I can't get over how much great music is local.
Yes.
I mean, you have Jenny Founds here, you have Mike Roy, and they're just two of so many people.
Yes, yeah.
And you're so good at bringing them on the Saturday morning show. Like, you've introduced me to such great local music that I never would have known otherwise. And I'm just blown away by it.
Yeah, I think that's the great part about what I do try to do is genuinely curate that a band comes on only if I truly think they would be your next favorite band. So that's a hard thing to do if somebody's asking me to come on and I'm like, I just don't know how to not say yes. But at the same point, that's also why I'm focused on not just local, so that we're bringing in sounds from elsewhere in the world.
Like because they're local somewhere.
They are local somewhere.
Those same bands are local.
And the other thing about the hope of the show is that we build trust. That you're going to tune in, and even if you don't like that particular night's band, you're going to tune in the following week until we do get to somebody. And then we can shine a light on the really talented local mixed with New York, Nashville, LA, everywhere that there's a scene, and trying to just highlight these are the ones that you should be paying attention to because they're producing such excellent music. And then you won't care whether they're a local Bethlehem band or whatever, because that's no longer the point. The point is this is just great music and you want to listen to it.
Yeah, and you did such a great job doing it. And I remember when you and I talked last year, you weren't always into music as you are now.
Well, I've never been a performer.
Yeah.
And I have always been a fan of going to live concerts. And then instead of making a mixtape for a girl I was interested in, I was making a mixtape of just what I thought was good music and would play it like on the school bus if we were going somewhere on a field trip or something. And then people were like, oh, what's Phil going to bring next time? Like, it was kind of in my character from even high school years.
Then maybe I just forget that interview.
That's
that was a year ago. I do a lot of interviews. I don't know who from one day to the next.
No.
And I made a lot of mixtapes for a lot of girls, and none of them wanted any of them. So I have like a stack of mixtapes that are like this high that I could not pay someone to take.
On the phone case.
And it was all Huey Lewis in the News. And
Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah,
that's technically my first concert.
Yeah, that
Weird Al opened for Huey Lewis in the News, and I asked to go because obviously I was more into Weird Al.
I think my first concert might have been Paul McCartney.
That's insane.
But that was a stadium show.
All due respect to Huey, that's way better than mine.
You know what? I got to meet Huey Lewis when I was 15.
Nice.
Like, I went backstage. My dad took me up to Cleveland, and this was I was 94 maybe.
Yep.
So it was a lot different in terms of like,
Yeah.
just like what you could do. Poor kids today just don't know what it was like. And so my dad just took me into the back, and there was this big guy there at this theater, and he's like, and my dad goes, "Hey, can my son get back there?" And he's like, "I don't care." So I just walk back.
Some security.
Yeah, I'm like this 15-year-old kid. I have this big overbite. I'm so goofy looking, similar than how I look now. And I get back there, and I just see the band, and I recognize the band because I was a huge fan, but Huey was not around. Mm-hmm. So I remember their saxophone player, Johnny Cola.
Nice.
So I walked over to Johnny. I just kind of struck up a conversation. He was so nice, and I go, "Hey, is Huey around?" And he goes, "No, he left." And I said, "Okay." And then we started chatting, and then he says, "Hey, you know what? Hold on a second. I want to take you somewhere." I said, "Okay." So he opens up this door. We walk into this hallway, and Huey is just sitting there alone, by himself, drinking water. He couldn't have been nicer. Like, he was so nice.
Yeah.
And, signed my ticket, said some really funny stuff.
Sure.
And I'll never forget it.
Yeah,
It
of
was
course.
such a neat moment.
That's very, very cool. I'm guessing they must know he needs time before a performance to not be interrupted or something?
This was after the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then the guy probably noticed you were a true and genuine
And
fan.
he probably thought, who is this kind of dorky kid? He's
Yeah.
like, I was like 14, 15. We have a young fan. So he took me back. And
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really neat.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always those really fun, like, what was your first concert conversations? And
I've also spoken to people who, and I won't name the artist, but she was a huge fan of this particular artist.
Sure.
She met him, didn't go well, and she was so crestfallen. This was high school, so she came in, and I was like, "Hey, how did it go?" She's like, "He wasn't very nice to me," and I felt really bad for her.
Sure.
And you don't know. I mean, people have bad days.
Yeah.
Like, you just cannot. I mean, maybe you can, but I can't be nice to everybody all the time. And so, if you know me, then you know that is very true.
I've seen nothing but nice both.
Yeah, because you've only seen me on air. That's not actually true. We've done stuff socially.
And then the last thing I want you to touch on is, you mentioned going to Cleveland. You're from Ohio.
From Akron, yes.
The Black Keys are playing this year.
They are.
You announced the Black Crows last night.
Last night, and my voice is like very hoarse. Yeah. Because I was screaming. Like, I'm in the fifth row, and I in mid show, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to shut up.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to lose my voice.
I got to go on your next favorite band tomorrow.
I got on my next favorite band. I mean, forget about this live television show that like the station is
that pays me something. Yeah. But so Black Crows, you're going to announce the Black Keys also.
Black Keys, because yes.
Good thing the Black Pumas weren't on the lineup. You would have had to introduce them
schedule.
too. Yeah.
But so yeah, I grew up with them.
That's what I was going to get at, is that they're from your hometown.
Yeah, my mom had Dan as a student in 4th grade. Dan and I became friends in 7th grade. And so I remember...
And you're talking about Dan Auerbach,
the
lead singer, guitar player.
And Pat was a year below me.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, he's amazing. And we used to go to like this... It was like this, and it was this jazz club in Akron, and he would sit like on a stool, and he would play, and he wouldn't look up. He just looked down, and it was like me and my 4 buddies.
Yep.
Were there every like Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever he would play. Like, and then to see where they've gotten.
Oh yeah.
It's neat.
I can't wait to see them. So I've seen them play once before. Also, just speak to this. All of the years I've gone to Musikfest, I've never once bought the ticket to the headliner, not for price, but because of time. I don't want to give up those free stages. This is the first time ever I'm willing to do that because I like the Black Keys that much. And the my favorite parts are when he goes more raw, more kind of filthy garage rock type stuff. In fact, he says on stage sometimes, when I saw them perform, there's this big elaborate display, all these lights and whatnot, and he would go up to the mic at some points and he would go like, "Everyone, come down to the basement with me." And all the fancy stuff would stop, and it would be just like a spotlight on him and Patrick and maybe the people who were supporting. And it would just be this like filthy, fuzzed out guitar that was from earlier in their catalog. Yeah. And I just loved those moments. I'm like, stay in the basement.
But I like, I like when bands change and evolve, and I have read that some people like that style, that very raw garage style, and they kind of miss that from where they're much more produced.
They definitely are, but it's still so good.
It is good, and you can enjoy both parts of it, right? Yep. I mean, I like it when a band grows. I mean, if you think about the Beatles, what the Beatles did from 63 to 69, I mean, I've never in my life seen a band be able to evolve that way.
Absolutely.
It's just completely different. Not saying that, someone who stays basically sounds the same there's anything wrong with that, but I love an evolution.
Absolutely.
And so
if you don't like the current
maturity
form,
of things, you can always go back to the older form. So that's kind of my philosophy with
Absolutely.
music. So.
Look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, you know what? Again, I want to thank you. You do so much for local music. I know all the time and effort you put in. You always perform so well on the Saturday morning show. Like, we wouldn't keep having you back as much as we do.
I'm so honored.
If you weren't really, really good. You give me like a War and Peace outline of what you're going to talk about on the Saturday show, and I can't do this. This is like, we got 5 minutes.
But my thought is always, let me give you more than you need. You tell me which part you like the best, and we make a run for it.
See.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Awesome. Bo, thank you so
All
much.
right.
I would say I'll see you around the fest, but I don't think that's true.
That's fine.
I will. I will see you on Sunday.
Okay. Maybe.
For the Black Key.
You'll see me. I don't know if I'll see you.
That's right. Yeah, I'll wear a bag over my head.
Okay.
But thank you so much for coming on the show.
Day 6 of the Musikfest 2025 daily live streams from Godfrey Daniels. Today our guests are Kyle Edwards and Matt Friedman. Hello everybody, welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, joined by guest co-host
Kyle Edwards.
And you are listening to
Your Next Favorite Band.
Yes, that is a
nailed it.
A dialed-in veteran of the show right there. There's a lot. I do it every time, and people are like, "I don't know what to say." But you do. You've been there. You've been in that seat before. So yeah, we're going to start off with you as my guest co-host. Then we'll have you on as a guest. You don't have to get up and down and move around. It'll just be right there. A little bit of a delayed start here today to accommodate our other guest. They're coming in from out of town, musicians, and so if they ask, hey, can we, make an adjustment, I'm not going to say no to that, because they're being generous with their time and kind enough to come on the show. The least we can do is be a little flexible to accommodate their travel, their start times on their sets or whatever. So sometimes we have to, cut things short to get them off to the plots. Sometimes we have to push the start back. So that's what it is.
Patience is a virtue.
It is. And being nimble and flexible is a key to happiness in life. So, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, first off.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, love the intro. Love being here. And this is second time I've had the opportunity to be here. So, again, can't thank you enough.
Absolutely. No, and we're going to definitely get into promoting a lot of the awesome stuff you've got going on.
Appreciate it.
But more short term, how's your fest going?
Good. I haven't had a chance to make it down to Fest just yet.
Got it.
But my wife is going tonight.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna live vicariously through her tonight.
She's seeing Nelly, right?
Nelly.
Yeah, very
she's
cool.
Pumped. She's going with a whole gang of gals.
That's the way to do it.
Yes, yeah. It should be fun. She's gonna be dressing in old school hip hop attire.
Of course.
So yeah, I'm excited to see the selfies later. But yeah, I will definitely make my way down to Musikfest for sure. With my current schedule and paintings and events at my space, it's been nonstop. But I'll definitely make a point to get.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's about the music. Sometimes it's about the food. Sometimes it's about meeting up with people. Many people, it's all of the above. So yeah, and let me get your. Let's talk about it now. This year's design. What's your take on that as an artist?
I like it a lot. I've been checking it out, zooming in. Kind of want to understand everything, how things are weaving together, and how it tells a story.
And it's fabric.
It's
like it's felted. Yes,
Yep.
And so very three-dimensional. So good for them on still making it. Not seem either blurry or whatever, but they did a beautiful job transferring it. But the piece is up in the Arts Quest building on South Side.
I've been told. I haven't seen it.
So if you visit the campus,
I love it.
Stop in there and check that out, because it is a stunning piece in person.
Yeah.
Something like that, you kind of really need to see it.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a more of appreciation then for the mug that you own.
Sure. Heck yeah.
So now welcome to the show, Kyle Edwards.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Founder, Chief Operating Officer, cook and bottle washer of A True L.O.V.E. Story.
Yes, sir.
Which is a lot of things. That's kind of like the parent, if you will.
Yeah, the umbrella.
The umbrella is a better term.
Yeah.
And then Inkwell, which is a wonderful creative space, venue of sorts, Because, and the only reason why I say of sorts is because it can be many things. You allow it to be kind of artist-led.
I still don't know what it is.
I don't.
No.
Well, what it is awesome.
I appreciate that.
And lots of very, very cool things have happened there already, and it's really building up quite a momentum of itself. So let's start with, again, there'll be people who don't quite know you yet. Let's introduce yourself.
Sure. Where
Where A True Love Story came out, and kind of your art.
Yeah, so A True Love Story was birthed out of a tragedy. My sister passed away many years ago, and kind of went through stages of grief, got stuck in depression, and as a way to save myself, if you will, I turned to art. I was reminded of how important art was to me, visual arts. So it brought me out of that. So art quite literally saved my life. So I'm very passionate about the art. So A True Love Story is art, apparel, and entertainment. I started painting on canvases. Was so broke at the time, couldn't afford it anymore, so I started painting on anything I got my hands on. Sneakers, shoes.
I don't mean to laugh.
It's struggling artist, it's real. But I started painting.
Oh, you have the shirts that say "Artists shouldn't struggle" or shouldn't...
"Artists shouldn't starve."
Starve,
yep,
yes.
Yep. So that's one of our highest selling tees.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people love that one. Because they shouldn't, right?
Absolutely not.
James Allen, he said, the world is beautiful because we exist. And he was talking about artists and creators.
Yeah.
So, I'm a big proponent for the arts because, again, it quite literally saved my life. But fast forward, I knew eventually I would need to open up my own space because there weren't spaces doing what I needed as an artist and creative. And I decided to open Inkwell.
Yeah. And where are you originally from?
Allentown.
That's what I thought. So
Yep,
you
yep.
kind of came back to
yep.
be able to create that space where
Correct.
you grew up. That's what I thought. I just didn't want to be wrong if I said it out
Yeah.
loud. Ask a question instead of a statement.
Yeah. It was important for me to contribute to my city.
Yeah.
There's this outdated narrative of Allentown from time to time, and I want to be part of the true story, the new story of the city.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it is certainly. I mean, like the most fascinating part about Lehigh Valley is predominantly Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. There's a couple other cities in there that are obviously worth people's time and attention, but those are the three big ones, and each one has its own flavor. It's not like they're all the same.
Exactly.
And that's also true. Like Allentown does sometimes have that stigma to it, and it takes community leaders and businesses and government and everything to really step in and make sure that gets fixed and changed. And I mean the perception, not the
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot more good than bad in the city of Allentown.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's perception.
Correct.
So I wanted to be part of that better perception of the
Sure.
city of Allentown.
Absolutely.
And in a very short period of time, man, we've made a lot of noise, literally and figuratively. But in a little over a year and a half now, we're an award-winning venue, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
We've hosted a Grammy award-winning saxophone players and Netflix and Comedy Central comedians, and it's really odd how this has come about in a very short period of time in the grand scheme of things. So very grateful. I know that this is my assignment, and these little wins along the way that are confirmation. So it's been great, man.
Yeah. And part of also using your talent in Allentown and many other places, but you're a muralist.
Yes.
And so last night we chatted, you were doing that effing massive one that was
took 2 months.
I was gonna guess it took quite a number of weeks. But that's also part of the contribution to the community to kind of beautify space and turn it into something that looks
a pop of color can change the energy in the room, as you know.
Absolutely.
So these large scale murals I have the honor and privilege of contributing. A lot of them I do with kids. I have a program that I developed that I go into schools and design and install pieces with kids. Art is powerful, man, as you know. Art is very powerful, and it's the mural is, and when I work with students, the mural is a bonus. It's the person you become at the wall. It's working with your peers, learning how to come out of your shell and communicate. And so many mental health aspects in mural installs. I can't say enough about it.
No, absolutely. And the Inkwell space, to touch on that for a second, and then we'll bring up the site. Like you were touching on, it has music, it has stand-up comedy, it has open mic, it'll have culinary arts, like it'll have yoga, like it'll have, and you're open to ideas. So if somebody is inspired to want to make a pitch, you're available for
Always.
that.
Yeah.
So
we really just want to elevate the local scene and help people it's called Inkwell because it's the source. We help you write your story.
And
right?
the code, the tagline there is "Everyone's welcome at the well."
All are welcome to the well. Yes, sir.
And so I'm going to bring up this page here so that we can kind of talk about like what is currently on the schedule. So if you come to A True Love Story LLC.com, and like you said, art, apparel, entertainment. There's Kyle, handsome dude right there. And then this is some of the stuff that's gone on. That's the mural we were talking about.
Yep.
And then done work with the Eagles.
Yep, about six murals with them.
That's amazing. And then I'll go back to the top
I gotta
here.
update it. I've had the privilege of installing, and we just finished our 42nd mural. I just installed at Stevens Park in Center City, Allentown. Actually, the first basketball court mural in the Valley. So we painted right on the basketball court.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's awesome. And then these are the events that are going on
Got
at
some big
Inkwell.
ones coming, man. Vladimir, he's on HBO, CBS, Netflix. He's big. He does like a Spanglish sort of brand
Nice.
of comedy, so I'm looking forward to that show.
Very cool.
But yeah, we have Little Maceo. He'll be here next Friday, and we're just honored and pumped to have him.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of everything: comedy, music, spoken word, fine dining events. We have a really cool fashion show, immersive fashion show coming.
So awesome.
Anything and everything.
Yeah. And Instagram would be a good place to keep up on latest events.
Best place, yep.
So that would be
Inkwell.llc.
Yeah.
On
So
Instagram. Yeah.
so we'll tag that here, but also just go find it and follow that so you can keep up on any of the events that are getting scheduled and coming up down the road. Yep. So that would be a good follow. You also do like the open mic with the musicians with the guy who performed with Godfrey Daniels here on the stage.
Antar.
And I just love that like these like casual connections and introductions and networking just seem to be really making things really beautiful. Somewhat Philly to Lehigh Valley and backward and forth. Yeah.
A large majority of our guests are from Philly, Jersey, and New York.
Yeah.
Predominantly out-of-towners come to Inkwell, and at first I didn't understand that, but it started to make sense. Like, you know, they've seen spaces similar to Inkwell. Inkwell's brand new to the city of Allentown, so they don't recognize the value just yet.
Sure.
They're coming over, so we've had a lot of people coming on in from the city of Allentown supporting. Don't get me wrong, but it's these great connections. I met Antar, and he believes in the vision of the space, and he wanted to get involved. And I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we do this. It's called Writers' Room. It's every other Sunday, 7 p.m. But it's an intimate conversation and concert series. So we highlight a local musician, have a conversation, Q&A, and then we get into an open mic after that. But that's very special, man.
Oh, yeah.
We started having these featured artists, whether it's comedy now for open mic. We have a featured comedian next Monday. We do Make Me Laugh Mondays, which is every other Monday night is an open mic. But now we have featured poets and musicians and writers for our storyteller series.
Awesome.
We do a mixed media event as well. We have 2 featured artists, a comedian and a musician for that. So we are really working hard to elevate the local art scene and create this ecosystem where we don't have to struggle. If we work together, we can find ways to monetize our craft and not feel icky about getting paid for
100%.
work. So that's the vision for the space.
That is very cool.
It's been coming together pretty well.
I think that also is an important, like, I have 2 daughters who went to charter arts for visual arts and then on to Pratt.
That's awesome.
And what I wanted to share there was they were taught the business of art. So they were taught how to use their sketchbook in a way to also keep track of time and how much you would charge per hour or whatever. So it was helpful for them to understand how to monetize it in a way that would be, again, you don't feel crappy about it. You're just like simply you come to an agreement on the front end and then you track it and then
like
you
anything else.
Exactly.
It's just a tool. Cash is just a tool. It means I could do more cool things. If you like the cool thing I did, buy it. I could do more cool things.
Correct. Exactly right.
I have a program at the Allentown Art Museum called Art U as well, and that's the crux of it. Is we want to help the youth monetize their craft and turn it into a business and be able to live a decent lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No, not at all. In fact, it's funny. Like, had a similar talk earlier this week when the Mallory, who was the designer of the poster art this year, and Bobby Siegfried, who's a brilliant musician, and we just started talking about art and AI and stuff like that. And one of the things we talked about was like, why is AI building art? Like, it should do the dishes and clean the house so that it gives me time to do the art.
Yeah.
So there was just kind of a funny
Very
part of that
accurate,
story.
yeah.
The last thing I wanted you to chat about was a lot of times you put love in there, so it'd be like, for the love of comedy or for the love of fashion. And so one of the ones you did recently was for the love of live music and connected to the Archer Music Hall.
Yep.
And I was just blown away by, again, the commitment to the local scene, which is obviously hugely important to me. And, just kind of wanted to have you share a little bit about how that came together and what the future vision of it is.
Yeah, so I've been working with Live Nation now at Archer Music Hall, and we have this partnership. I'm doing quarterly shows at the moment for the love of local music.
Yep.
And we highlight local musicians that may not have an opportunity to take to a stage of that caliber, if you will, that size, with that sort of cachet, and elevate, again, what they're already doing. They don't necessarily need me for approval, but sometimes they need some help to get those resources, and that's what I hope to do. Is if you look at where Inkwell's positioned geographically in downtown Allentown, we're 2 blocks away from Archer. Archer's 2 blocks away from PPL. So if we do it right, and we take arts and culture seriously and as our identity as a city of Allentown, but that's another discussion. We can have the sort of success stories where we bring a musician into Inkwell, we help them outgrow a space like Inkwell. They move down to Archer, and who knows, they might be able to move down to PPL. Like, we can have those stories.
Absolutely.
Do it right. And
The successful music scenes across the country, because I have been doing a little bit of research around it, is because they offer these like step-up venues.
Yes.
Arguably, you would want a 250, 500 cap room in between Inkwell and Archer, and then something that also is in between it. But it doesn't have to be right in that same neighborhood. It could also be what's within 25 miles.
Archer, they have 2 rooms. Archer has a 500.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was just thinking about the major, the bigger room, because I just saw a show in that room.
Okay.
And loved it. Trombone Shorty is one of the best entertainers around. But
No,
you're right about that. I think that's part of it. Is you start doing that, and suddenly, like, even like, obviously when you think of that type of thing, that's what Nashville has. That's what Austin has. New York, LA, blah, blah, blah. But even Charleston, South Carolina has a thriving music scene. And it's because they have at least one, if not a couple, of each one of those types of venues. And so that means, as a musician, as to your point, as you're building up, you're still going to keep going back to that city. If as you're building up, they now can't handle you until you go from 100 to 5,000, it's now no longer in your routing, and then you're not going back there, like, unless it's a really, someone reaches out and proactively asks you to, but like, you're going to develop your routing, and you need to be able to capture that person every time, regardless of what would be the best for them.
And it's all strategic. I mean, now I'm working with Milk Boy down in Philly. We're going to start Lehigh Valley Philly Exchange, and that's going to come as well. So it's a lot of these little strategic moves we're making behind the scenes to set up these artists, whether they're musicians, comedians. We want to really support local artists and help them thrive and create these connections. You know, and we recently had a comedian that met some Philadelphia-based comedians at one of our shows, and then he went down to Philly to do a show at Punchline. I mean, it's these opportunities.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, there needs to be more of a connection there. We've talked about it a ton on this show, where it's like, it's not that far. In fact, somebody was on the lineup this year from Philly, and he was like, I was ready, like, when I was booked for this, I just had it in my head, it was like a 2.5 hour drive. I got in the car, and it was an hour and 10 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, it is.
Very close.
Very close. So anyway, thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you for all you do for the community and your beautiful art and clothing and all that good stuff. And look forward to continued opportunities to collaborate.
I'm really excited about the opportunity to collaborate.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking.
For sure.
For sure. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you, man.
So let's head down to the fest.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.